Hi everybody, welcome to my channel Infinite Wish. So today I'm going to be talking about Venus in the 12th house synastry. Let's get into it. It's just going to be like I'll basically just be talking in point form. I don't think I'll be making another video. I just kind of want to say everything. It's not going to be in order, but if you guys do want it in order, I guess I can make another video, but it's just everything from the top of my head, so let's go. So I would say that Venus is the most persistent in this connection, but unfortunately I do see that the 12th house just does not trust it. But it's like accepting of like what the Venus is putting out, but I guess like I would say the house is always matching Venus's energy, but at the same time 12th house is also kind of looking at Venus like, are you just Venus being Venus type of energy. This is a very interesting synastry. I feel like there are secrets. I feel like with the 12th house, I feel like the secrets more so involve themselves and more so themselves. I feel like Venus, whatever secrets they have to be with other people, just because Venus is entering the 12th house and then what Venus represents. And the 12th house is going to, especially if these two individuals aren't healed, okay, they are going to get triggered. I don't know if this is a twin flame dynamic, but I would say that the 12th house does get triggered, and let's get into what they get triggered about. So the 12th house is going to start questioning their beliefs, what's important to them. And because Venus is falling in the 12th house, I feel like it has to do with anything Venusian, beauty, luxury, wealth. So I feel like the 12th house will start spending money on themselves, buying all this stuff, and not necessarily like to impress the Venus, but they're just kind of looking at Venus, and I feel like sometimes Venus has that energy already. It's like the 12th house almost wants to match that energy, but they're trying to do that from themselves. I feel like the 12th house always has that in them, and then they meet Venus and it's just like, whoa, you know? So the 12th house starts taking care of themselves, like more than usual, I would say, making sure that they always have this, they're all put together. So I feel like with Venus coming into somebody's 12th house, it's pulling that energy out of them. And I don't want to say that the 12th house person doesn't naturally have that, but I would kind of say, well, the reason why you meet people, right? Sometimes it's an energy you forgot within you because, life happens. And when you meet people, it's almost a reminder of this energy that you kind of put on the shelf, and it's time to, get that energy off the shelf and start wearing it. And Venus, I would say that the thing about this synastry, I feel like Venus kind of wants to rush and be all in, and but the thing about with Venus here, things aren't clear here, and it almost can seem like Venus is being really, really selfish, because they want the 12th house to kind of do all these things, and let me get into what I mean by that. So the Venus person may, it can kind of feel like the Venus person wants to do all this relationship things with the 12th house person without it being clear on what they're actually doing. Is this a situationship? Is this leading to something? And I feel like that is the problem with Venus falling in the 12th house, because things aren't clear here. And because the 12th house the 12th house is used to being with self, I wouldn't say necessarily isolation, but the 12th house is okay with being with by themselves or having one other connection, or but Venus is not like that. Venus, because it's falling to someone's 12th house, so this individual probably has a lot of relationships, and they keep it very close to them, and that's very, very important to them, if you get what I mean. And the 12th house person may not like this, because the almost the 12th house person can kind of pick up what the Venus person is trying to do. And it's almost like Venus can be love bombing the Venus person can be like love bombing the 12th house person, and the 12th house person does not trust it. Like, the 12th house person loves the attention and loves that, but it's just like, you know how love bombing is, right? So with things not being clear and all this love bombing going on, it's the 12th house person will go along with it, but will not trust it. And I'm so sorry to say, guys, this may not even turn out to a relationship. This can almost kind of slip into casual dating or a situationship. So you have to be really clear here about what you guys want, because the first time that you guys meet is going to define how this whole synastry is going to play out. So you have to be really confident and comfortable with yourself. If this is a person that you want to date, make that very clear. If you want something casual, make that very clear, because that first interaction, that first meeting, forget about, back and forth texting and all that stuff. The first meeting is really important, and that is going to set how everything is going to play out, essentially. So with the Venus person, I would say the Venus person kind of thinks that they are an individual, but then they meet the 12th house person and they see the 12th house person like more of an individual than themselves. I guess because I would say Venus kind of relies on their friend groups, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is just how the synastry aspect can play out. So Venus really relies on friend group validation, and that's very, very important to them. But I would say with the 12th house, they don't really need a whole, crowd behind them. They may have one connection, two connection, of friends, family, but they aren't really like that. It's more so the Venus that may have a lot of people around them. So this is such a weird synastry, because there's just so much secrets. I don't really understand why this synastry aspect plays out in such a secretive way. It's just so strange, I would say. And I feel like both of like the Venus and 12th house, they don't have a problem with it being so secretive, but it's just like, I feel like they both kind of see each other in an ideal way. So it's kind of strange how this kind of ends up being like a secret type of energy. And unfortunately, you will never know what the Venus, the planet person's up to. They could really be involved with somebody else, and even before meeting you, and they're still messing around that person, you may not even uncover that. Unless you let this whole synastry aspect play out, and there's confessions, and you guys kind of let each other know what's been really going on behind the scenes, but you may not even really find out what was really going on behind the scenes, but you just feel a lot of weird energy. And I also do feel like, depending on how this synastry plays out, the 12th house person may have a feeling, have dreams, that the Venus person does have another person in their life, and planet person may eventually, they won't say like this is the person I'm being serious with, but I did, while we were talking, I did mess around with someone type of energy. So I would just be careful about Venus, because whether or not somebody is lingering around there, you may not know, or they might just be talking to multiple people at the same time. So I would be watching out with Venus, only because 12th house person could be talking to other people too, but it's on a different level. I feel like the 12th house person is ultimately more so interested in the Venus person, and the Venus person could just be, stringing along the 12th house person at first. So yes. And I would say that maybe the 12th house, the Venus person, I would say the Venus person will acknowledge their feelings privately, or they might not even know what they're feeling exactly, because they could be in and out of 12th house person's life for some reason. I feel like there's a lot of back and forth with Venus and 12th house. I'm not sure why. There's just a lot of back and forth, talking, not talking. It's just a very, and at the same time, you two people may not even be dating seriously, but it can almost feel like, what is this connection? It's like, this is such a weird connection. Like, what is going on? I thought, I thought this was casual or type of thing. So just be careful about that. So let's get into the 12th house. 12th house person doesn't know what's going on. 12th house person is super confused. They just know that the Venus person is making them feel a type of way, making them change their beliefs, making them, more interested in beauty, fashion. And 12th house has to be really careful with spending a lot of money on themselves, on, not in a bad way, but I would just say 12th house person definitely does have to, watch out with that. I would say Venus will start doing that as well, but more so in a show-offy way. But 12th house may so do that privately. So yes, but either way, I feel like both will be kind of doing that. So I would say that unfortunately it all comes down to Venus. Okay, if Venus is playing around and making what is it that people say when you're dating, future faking, I would be really, really careful about, and then also, guys, take it as it resonates. It doesn't have to be specifically 12th house or Venus. I'm just, playing on the energy, but be careful with the Venus future faking, because Venus is in the 12th house and Venus is having fun here, letting their hair down, and may say a whole bunch of lies and future fake for the 12th house person to get whatever they want from the 12th house person. So you have to be really careful with that. Somebody's gonna be future faking, and I feel like the 12th house person, because it's in the 12th house, they're gonna kind of smell that out right away and just say, okay, you're obviously lying. So, I would just be a little bit careful about that. There is just this weird connection, and I'm so sorry. I know you guys are gonna be like, everything has to be so negative. I'm not saying it's negative, okay? But look how the world is. Look how everybody's dating these days. The dating world is really, really scary at the moment. So it's almost like a battlefield now, right? Between men and women. So and I, don't take I'm just talking about energy. You could be a woman and woman, man and man. So just don't take that. It just depends, right? So so I may have to make a part 2, but I'm gonna say that these two people really could work. Planet and 12th house really could do something together. So, okay, let's go to part 2.